Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with another WWE Fastlane preview coming up. I've had tons of things on my mind to talk about before my suspension was handed out. I made one video about the match Rusev being versus John Cena being added to the Fastlane pay-per-view. That, of course, was after the snowed out Monday Night Raw, where basically WWE had to announce this match via Twitter. And this week on Monday Night Raw, we were able to see really the first hype up of this big match with Rusev and Cena, drawing the line in the sand of where they're coming to. Rusev is a guy that has been in the WWE for a year, of course, debuting at the Royal Rumble last year with the big sort of solo moment, throwing a lot of guys out, coming from NXT. A lot of guys really didn't know who Rusev was. Maybe you heard about him in some NXT reviews or things like that, but it was the first chance of really seeing this beast of a man come in solo style all by himself, and from there he was able to add Lana and bring in the whole sort of Russian sympathist sort of storyline behind him. And since then we've seen him destroy Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Biggie Langston, R-Truth, Jack Swagger, I don't know, a few other matches that have come down along the lines. I honestly am sort of really surprised. I guess they just totally scrapped the Ryback versus Rusev match that I thought was going to happen at Fastlane. Maybe they're thinking, you go throwing John Cena out there and having a big, I guess they're going to call this the co-main event, but I don't think there's any way in the world that this is even being debated as a match that could happen anywhere near the end of the show. I think that more than likely, especially with the fact that they've said that the United States Championship is going to be on the line during this match, that this is a match that John Cena has a chance of winning. More than likely you see some sort of a count out, maybe disqualification finish where Rusev keeps his undefeated streak. But we've seen, Rusev go up against a lot of guys and not really have a lot of thought about him losing this undefeated streak. Once you build somebody up as being undefeated, we've seen him be counted out. I think he's lost via count out to Jack Swagger. I think he lost via count out at Survivor Series. That's how they eliminated him from the match. But we haven't seen this guy be pinned. We haven't seen this guy submit. He's let to be laid down for the 3-second tan, John Cena style. But I don't know. I mean, this is the biggest test that Rusev has had to face in his WWE, career. I had sort of had this pictured as the WrestleMania match. Somebody would stand up to Rusev at WrestleMania. It was either going to be Hogan or it was either going to be Cena. Somebody standing up for the red, white, and blue, the good old United States, and actually taking Rusev to town. I think that honestly, one of the biggest things that's going to happen for Rusev is once we see this guy lose, where this guy's character goes. If you look at Goldberg in WCW, once Kevin Nash beat him at Starrcade, and he lost the undefeated streak. From there, they didn't want to do the real fast rematch of Goldberg versus Kevin Nash. Of course, moments later, they did the NWO reunion with the finger poke of doom. So Goldberg went on to fight, in the ladder match with the taser on a pole, gimmick at the next pay-per-view. And, the sort of storyline was built out for Goldberg, where Goldberg was going to fight, he was going to probably have to fight, Scott Hall, which would lead to, him fighting Scott Steiner, which would lead to him fighting Buff Bagwell. Basically climbing the ranks of the NWO before finally, maybe at the next year's Starrcade, being able to main event against Hogan or Nash, getting his chance at the championship. And it wouldn't just be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It was sort of being the building of Goldberg. But, things, happened where Goldberg went over there and tried to smash the limo, where he, tore up all the muscles and he cut things by punching the glass out of the limo, and his career took a big detour where it took a long time for them to have to start and stop with Goldberg, and he was never able to regain what he once had. I think that the undefeated streak is an easy way to get somebody over. As you can see, a lot of the guys from NXT, when they come up, Adam Rose, Bo Dallas, they come into WWE with a whole bunch of success, and then once they get that first loss, when Bo Dallas lost to, I think he lost to Mark Henry, Adam Rose, he lost to somebody, and I don't even remember who that was, but it's almost like they just completely fall off the face of the earth. I guess you can see that I thought that was good when they debuted Charlotte, and she lost that first match, even though she was having an NXT Women's Championship match that week, and that's the reason why she was on Raw. She was hyping up that whole deal, was maybe to show, once you come into WWE, you might have been great at the NXT level, which is AAA, but these people are major leaguers. They're the real deal, and it's going to take a little bit of adjustment period. I don't want you to come in and just straight jobbing out matches, but you got to show that this is the real deal, and these guys have been here for a while. These guys are the vets. It's not that they deserve the victories. It's just they're better, and you got to adapt to your surroundings, and you got to get better. But I don't know. A lot of people, are making a big deal of the United States Championship on the line. I think that's one of the easiest ways to see that, John Cena is not going to be winning this match, and if he is, it's not going to be a pinfall or submission. It's going to be some sort of a count-out or wacky victory, which I guess would set up the fact, JBL's even came out and said that this was supposed to be a WrestleMania match, but because of their backstage, interaction at the Royal Rumble, they pushed this match up to hype up, Free February, but a lot of guys in their career, John Cena becoming United States Championship guy isn't going to be horrible. I mean, you never saw Hulk Hogan going after the Intercontinental Championship. When he was in WCW, he never went after the TV title. He never went after the United States title. He's always been that main event guy. But we've seen, guys, Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, be World Heavyweight Champion and then later go after these Intercontinental Championships. I think all three of these guys were Intercontinental Champions after being World Heavyweight Champion, and I don't think it's a knock on any of those guys, but, John Cena is a main event guy. Like they said last year with him versus Bray Wyatt, it didn't matter that it was John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. John Cena is always going to be the WrestleMania main event because he's John Cena and he's the reason why WrestleMania is what it is. If it wasn't for John Cena, the Raw ratings and the SmackDown ratings and house show events, wouldn't have the attention that they have on him. John Cena is the man no matter where he is on the card. If he's the opening match, if he's the middle match, if he's the main event, he's always going to be the reason why the houses are packed. You look out into those stands, it doesn't matter what color John Cena is wearing at the time, if it's orange, if it's green, if it's red, if it's yellow. He's wearing that light blue sort of throwback shirt right now. The whole place is going to be packed with him. It doesn't matter where he's on the card. He's always going to be the most popular guy. But Ziggler, Mysterio, and Jericho, how they all have fans. They're all great wrestlers. They're not that guaranteed main event. You might plug them in a main event every once in a while. I'm not trying to knock those guys. Two of the three are guaranteed Hall of Famers when they hang it up. No matter what you think of the WWE Hall of Fame, one guy is still a question mark. He hasn't hit that, that big plateau. Does he deserve it? Yes. But he hasn't got there yet. He doesn't have the Hall of Fame vote from Stevie Breach that doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. But I want him to get there. He's one of my favorite guys to watch. But I don't see John Cena doing it. WCW, their mid-card championship, which was the TV title or the United States title, you saw guys like Sting, Ric Flair, Bret Hart, guys that were on the main event, still hold this title. I don't know if this was sort of a keepsake for WCW, where they were, you're not going to be the main event, but you're going to be this title holder, which sort of solidifies you as, once you don't have this belt anymore, you can move on to the next one because you were still a champion. And I don't ever really remember anybody ever really knocking the United States Championship or the TV title along the way. Once WCW got to the dying days and Scott Hall won the TV title and threw it in the trash and it was picked up by Hacksaw Jim Duggan, yeah, it lost a little bit of prestige. But, when guys like Scott Steiner held the United States Championship. You could see that was sort of like what the Intercontinental title meant back in the early 90s, is that was the stepping stone to get you from one thing to the other. Of course, when Goldberg won the World Heavyweight Champion, he was United States Champion at the time. So there is the progression still of going up, but going backwards is a place that I don't really see John Cena going. Easily, in my mind, this is going to be a win. I would love to see Rusev get this win in this match. Like I said, it's hard to build somebody for anything after the undefeated streak. I know that this is only Fastlane, it's not WrestleMania. I can easily see this still being a WrestleMania match, unless they're really going to shake up the card. This is something that I've seen in the books for a while now. It's sort of, you could tell that, Cena wasn't going to be champion. I think I was pushing a little bit for him to win that Royal Rumble match. I really wanted it to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen. I really saw Rollins coming out of Royal Rumble as the champion, honestly, and I thought maybe that Fastlane was going to be Cena versus Rollins, but we didn't get that. I thought that was an easy way. Maybe you have Cena win the match at the Rumble, you have Rollins cash in, Fastlane, easy sort of, transition, the champion versus the past champion, Brock Lesnar not showing up. That's your main event. But I think you got a whole lot of attention going on with Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan, seeing what's going to happen there. Could be a lot of backlash at the same thing coming out of that. But I don't know. What do you guys think is going down? I mean, honestly, it's pretty easy to see that, this is going to be a 2-month, maybe even 3-month feud for Cena versus Rusev. Just, Rusev get the cheap victory in the first one, which sets up the payoff and the rubber match coming with Extreme Rules in WrestleMania. Is this just a short feud for John Cena where they dispose of Rusev? Do you put the title on John Cena? Could be a lot of things coming down with this match, but I don't know. It's a little bit more exciting than I thought it was. You also got Wade Barrett versus Dean Ambrose coming up, so that's something else to look forward to. Did I say that right? Barrett versus Ambrose? My mind sort of drifted off into left field, just trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to say, because this will probably be the last video of the day. So, talk to everybody a little bit later. Fastlane, 2 big matches on the road to WrestleMania. Peace out.